Fair game to win a delegate? Is threatening a fair game? Is threats a fair game?
It's not my style. It's not Donald Trump's style.
What is?
I'll tell you, but it is.
And political guru Dick Morris. Dick, before I ask you to comment, I want you to watch this video from one of the people on Trump's campaign speaking to Chuck Todd.
What is fair game to win a delegate? Is threatening a fair game? Is threats a fair game?
It's not my style. It's not Donald Trump's style.
What is?
I'll tell you, but
what
it is.
Can you
but
do?
it is Ted Cruz's style, and that's going to wear thin very fast.
You think he's threatening delegates?
Well, he's threatening that there. You go to these county conventions and you see the Gestapo tactics, the scorched earth tactics.
Gestapo tactics.
Yeah, they are.
That's a strong word.
Well, you look at. We're going to be filing several protests because the reality is, they are not playing by the rules.
All right, Dick, is that true or untrue?
I don't think that's true. I think that what's going on is that CRUZ has a very, very intelligent, well-planned, well-staffed second ballot strategy. In other words, in these states like South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Arizona, where Trump won the primary, that's only the first stage of the process. After the primary, you then have county and precinct and district conventions that nominate the delegates, the actual bodies that are in the seat. Now, normally that's just an honorific and kind of a plum you throw to your major party activists and donors. But now it's significant. So CRUZ has people all over these conventions making sure that the bodies in the seats are CRUZ delegates. Now, those CRUZ delegates are going to have to vote for Trump on the first ballot because they're bound by the primary. But on the second ballot, they would be free to vote for CRUZ and also would be free to vote any way they want on any rules or procedural matter that's going to be very important. So that may appear Gestapo tactics when you're the victim of it, but it's a pretty cool move in my book. You know, I was talking to somebody in the CRUZ campaign the other day, and they said on Saturday, this past weekend, there were 145 delegate events, delegate selection events throughout the whole country. And they said CRUZ had 95 people at them and monitoring.
How many people did Donald Trump have at the...
Less than 10 in Kasich had none.
So then let me ask you this, Dick. Is this a function of Ted Cruz being in the world of politics for quite some time now and Donald Trump's inexperience with the political ins and outs? Is this why this is happening?
Yeah, I think that's perceptive. What's going on really is that Trump is a guy who intuitively understood stuff that no other politician did. And he invented a style of campaigning that will live long after him. This was a watershed year in that he brought a whole new method of incorporating social media and rallies and all of that stuff. And it was brilliant. Mm-hmm. And in the course of doing it, he didn't consult anybody. He didn't talk to any of the political pros or consultants because he knew better. And in fact, he did know better, and he produced incredible results. But then when it comes to the dull, pedantic, run-of-the-mill stuff that a political professional knows, he didn't listen to them then either. And so that he never really backfilled an organizational delegate selection managing process. And a political professional knows that. It's like putting your army in winter uniforms when you invade Russia.
Yeah, I mean, it almost sounds like, to use a boxing analogy, it's almost like Mike Tyson before he met that, I can't remember the trainer's name, but Mike Tyson was D'Amato. He was a great brawler, but he needed somebody to teach him how to be a great boxer. So is that what you're talking about? You've got to take the bombastic style, a straight shooting of Donald Trump, but take somebody like yourself who understands the nuances of a campaign and somewhat marry those together.
Yeah, but I would amend that metaphor slightly. This is like a boxing match between a boxer who's going for a knockout and someone who's trying to win on points. The guy on knockout wades in and swings away. The guy who's trying to win it on points plays the long game, wants to go 15 rounds, and is constantly scoring with punches, but never a knockout blow. That's the Trump and the CRUZ style. Trump is going for a first ballot nomination, and CRUZ is basically looking for a second ballot going 15 rounds.
You know, I'm not going to ask you for a prediction, and I'm not asking you who you like. I'm asking you from being the political guru that you are, and you've been involved in this for a very long time. If you're sitting there, as we sit right now, Dick, who is lined up better moving forward for the nomination? Is it Trump or is it CRUZ?
It all depends on John Kasich. I personally believe that Kasich is running for vice president. I believe he's staying in the race, amassing delegates, although he hasn't lately. But he's got 143. I think by convention might make it to 200. And I think that he's amassing a dowry. You remember in the Middle Ages when daughters got married, the fathers would give her money to give to the groom. That was called the dowry to induce him to marry her. I think that's what's going on now. CRUZ is amassing delegates so that he can have delegates to bring to Donald in return for a vice presidential nomination. Now, if Kasich does that and he's successful at it, Trump will be nominated. If he's not successful, or if I'm misreading his intention, I think CRUZ has the upper hand.
Really? So right now you're thinking that Donald Trump, whether he likes it or not, because I would assume he probably doesn't like the idea of having Kasich as his running mate. He may not have any other choice. If he really wants the presidency, he may have to latch on to that guy.
I believe that right now there's only one way Donald Trump wins this nomination, and that is with Kasich as vice president. Now, I do want to say that that doesn't mean the nomination will be stolen from Donald.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
He'll just lose primary after primary or win by two small margins. But if he marries Kasich, he'll have enough votes and he'll be the nominee.
Well, I mean, I'm going to end it on that, Dick. I want to say thank you, but I leave you with this because I'll have you back, obviously. I'm a huge Donald Trump supporter, and I don't want Kasich to be the vice president.